This novel begins most assuredly here, in this sublime narrative. I am stunned as I read it with its lisping S's. I am fascinated by its unintended irony. I am in love with its cadence. What movement in do not by any means lay to, but stand to under any easy sail. I am envious the way it speaks so gently to its readers, so surely. Its authority in apprehending what others cannot apprehend, its command of the geography of oceans. How wilting, how majestic. This gorgeous prose dissembles. It obstructs our view of its real directions. It eludes, it masks. But it points, it says, there. That is where you land the ships bringing sails to this island. It says that it is possible to do this and still maintain gifts of erudition or intelligence, even playfulness. Language is so wonderful, so deceitful, which is why 230 years later, I wrench it from his pen. I tear it from the wall of this museum. I cut it into pieces, one piece for the title of this novel, At the Full and Change of the Moon, and the rest I give to my Camina, who escapes the slave plantation at Montchagrin in this novel, and who in this novel is searching for terre bouillante, a Marounage, who is searching in this novel for a place he will never find. He must instead take Bola, the child of a woman named Marie Ursule, a woman who at the beginning of this novel is about to commit suicide. He must take this child Bola and care for her until she can make generations who will inhabit our century. He never finds what he is looking and longing for. It eludes him. It dissembles. All of his directions lead nowhere. His observations are unearthly. Camina's unending and, as history will confirm, inevitably futile search for a homeland is the mirror of the book's later generations, their dispersal, their scatterings to the extreme and remote corners of the world, Amsterdam, New York, Toronto. Their distraction and flights resound in him and back to him. It is their condition of being. This is what they give all cities. They inhabit temporariness elsewhere, thinking of something they cannot remember, but thinking furiously. The journey is the destination. I use Jeffrey's observations not as he had, to show the way to slavery, but to sail my characters into the 20th century. The unholy paradox of it does not escape me. I cannot undo Jeffrey's words, which might look like simple directions to some. I cannot unhappen history, and neither can my characters. When asked, as in Derek Walcott's poem, quote, "Where are your monuments, your battles, martyrs? Where your tribal memories?" My characters answer, as in the poem, "Sirs, in that grey vault, the sea. The sea has locked them up." My characters can only tear into pieces both history and Jeffrey's observations. They can only deliberately misplace directions and misread observations. They can take north for south, west for east. Anywhere they live is remote. They can, in the end, impugn the whole theory of directions. They inhabit everywhere, mostly the metropoles of North America and Europe. Their lives take any direction at any moment. In this museum are records, books, lists, names of the enslaved, and their age, sex, and physical condition. This novel begins in the jumble of names I've read. I look down each list. I try to imagine someone writing these lists. Would they have written them down at the beginning of the crop, at the end of the crop, or would they have kept a running record? Would they have had a cup of tea before going to the job? Or would they have stopped in the middle, gone home to have an afternoon nap, and returned thinking what a nuisance paperwork was? Or would this someone have written these names quite happily with a flourish in the wrist, congratulating himself or herself on the good condition and quantity of their livestock? I cannot help wondering at the personal while reading these lists. What did May, girl 10, sickly, look like? Or Alfred, man 20, good health? There are no ruins of slave houses on this island. Their lodgings were so poorly made, so transient, nothing left of that. Perhaps that is all to the good. Forgetting is a crucial condition of living with any peace. But the records of what and how are in the living, in our habits, our tastes, our styles, a sweet tooth, a love for starchy foods, a sudden hatred of fields, a desire for big cities, an insistent need for loud colors, beautiful shoes, excesses of all kinds, whether we can afford them or not.